everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. Yeah, this might be, there's no might about it. This is going to be quite a deep reading. It might be a long one. Loads of downloads last night. And we have today the Ankh, the Galactic Center, and NASA. They all came in for me. And I used to download on the 3 o'clocks, the 3:30s and the 4 o'clocks. I'm now downloading in the ones. So 1:10, 1:30 this morning, 1:03, 01:30, 13:04. And last week we had that 31, 13:04. And what it's shaping up as is looking straight into the mirror of our own soul, so staring into the part of ourselves that is the galactic center. So I'm calling this week Quantum Expansion Week, echoing the owning our own soul, which came through last week. Death and rebirth started on Saturday and Sunday. And I think there could be some heavy and potentially very loving energies, which are feeling quite deep for us this week. So the Ankh came through as the mirror of the soul, the mirror that we stare into, the mirror of the self, the love of the self, and the thing we crave the most is ourself at soul level. And the soul is the gateway to the galactic center, being able to access the broader expansion of who you came to be rather than the story that you inherited. So an inherited life is being washed out, all the old programming, the old dogmas, the old burdens being removed from the system to experience joy on a level that we may never have experienced before, profound joy, volition, passion, creating from love without any distraction around the money or all of that bottom line consumerist stuff. So it's like the quantum you rushing in. And that might be disorienting. I'm seeing that it is being disorienting for people. And my best guidance might be to lean into that disorientation. I feel disoriented, and it is what it is, and to lean into that disorientation rather than go back to something that's old and familiar. Because if we're talking about galactic center and quantum expansion, we won't have the subconscious programming to help us understand and map to that. And it will come in as something so new, it could throw us into confusion, disorientation, rejection, denial. And we need that. That's part of the alchemical process of transforming and transmuting what's been holding us back, limiting us. This energy is heavy. And then on my feed over the weekend appears latest news from NASA about Voyager 1 that's in deep space at the moment, somewhere near the galactic center. and how suddenly it's gone into this malfunction. Its telemetry is off. In simple terms, Voyager 1 doesn't know where it is. It's still being controlled from NASA on Earth, which blows my mind. The technology to even be able to do that is fabulous. But it doesn't know where it is, despite the fact that it has an antenna pointing back to Earth so it can map. So you might be experiencing feelings of, I don't know who I am, what I am, where I am, what I'm doing. And that's lack of subconscious. That's new. And so in this quantum expansion, what we're learning, like toddlers, is how to remap to the galactic center. And I'm going to my books, and it's all been done for me, which I love. So I've pulled out 3 random books now. After the last video, I can't even remember what the last video was. What was it? I don't know. Immediately after the last video, that was my instruction. And I've put it off for a couple of days because I had to do my own work. And the tower is tearing down the edifice of our own creation. And I really must stress that, our own creation. For kings to exist, slaves must also, peasants must also. Give them the power to exist. And this is the toppling of the old crown, the toppling of the ego. And in that, there's going to be resistance and a fight. And that links into emotional attachment to labels and what defines us. And throws open the challenge of, but who will I be in this new world? Okay. So I'm going to 3 books. And all I do is I tune into that energy and I just hold the book and let it fall open, and do this with any book. And all the work's been done for me. So thank you. Thank you to all that guides me. So first book, nice and 3D and understandable, is like my grunt psychology book. There's tons of stuff in here. And the page falls open. Oh, interesting. At page 116, which is 8. Great Lord Karma. Oh, expansion, movement, change. And the chapter my eye goes to is called A Denial of Fate. And again, just tune into the words and the words behind the words and the somatic registration in the body. Okay, what do you feel? And stay curious about the rest. So this chapter is the chapter on Fritz Perls, who gave birth to Gestalt. And Gestalt is a beautiful systemic way of working. It's my favorite way of working as a therapist. Another component in the Gestalt method involves the use of language. One critical tool patients are given for increasing self-awareness is the instruction to notice and change the use of the word I within speech. Perls says that to take responsibility for our reality, we must recognize how we use language to give the illusion that we have no control when this is not the case. By simply rephrasing, I can't do that, to I won't do that, it becomes clear that I am making a choice. Again, that hooks me into my volition. What am I choosing in this? I'm just being taken back to a download from 2 days ago. Yeah, I was given these words to make an Instagram post, which I never did. Hold yourself responsible for every thought, action, and deed. Nothing is happening to you. The all is flowing through you, and how you respond to it is entirely of your own volition. This also helps to establish the ownership of feeling. Emotions arise in and belong to me. I cannot blame someone or something else for my feelings. And the second book I'm going to go to, which fell open at a short passage, is The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Travelled I through space-time, galactic center, knowing my soul at last was set free, knowing that now might I pursue wisdom, until at last I passed to a plane hidden from knowledge, known not to wisdom, extension beyond all that we know. And the third book, one of my oldest books, I must have had this 20 years, falls open at, a loving person lives in a loving world. A hostile person lives in a hostile world. Everyone you meet is your mirror, and I might say, every situation you pull towards you has been created and viewed by you. Perception is reality. And is there room to change perceptions in this? So this week in this quantum expansion is going to feel like that, and it might feel resistant, defiant, destructive. It might pull up some anger and frustration. It might pull up the numbness that you've had to conjure to keep yourself down, to enable this hierarchical system of societal value, which is a human concept. It's a concept of the abuse of power, and it's in us. It's in us. And in a mundane way, I want you to notice what's happening in your body at the moment. Like if you go back for the last month, changes that are happening in the body. There's a lot of changes I'm noticing going on in people's guts, legs, knees, ankles, feet. For me, I'm channeling in a different energy, which feels like if you put metal and electricity together, it's fast, really, really fast. And it makes me feel like my brains are boiling. Attractive. Okay. Let's pull some cards. I want to pull this down into the 3D a little bit more today. Why am I reaching for those cards now? Okay. And 3D. Right. Bear with me, I'm not prepared. I want these. Let's just see what these want to bring. I think these are called the light activation cards. So as I hold the energy of the tower, just ask what these cards want to bring. Oh, feel lumpy. That's it. Reading's over. What are you clinging on to? Because here's the beauty. There's a gateway of beauty and the beginning of a path. And where do you want to go? It might be a heavy week. Have I said that? I said that already. And in there is the learning to, there's a question, how loving can you really be with yourself? How willing are you to allow yourself to be loved back to life by your own soul? To feel worthy of that love. There's a kind of sickness. So lots of throat chakra stuff going on. I've seen something beautiful in the last week, 10 days. Some of my favorite readers on YouTube are saying things like, I want to change my channel. I want to bring more of myself to this. I want to stop hiding. So it's definitely in the collective, Just coming to the entrance of the cave, looking at these beautiful deep emotions in this pyramid at the back. It's the serious alignment. I want to say watch out for Lionsgate this year. Share your voice. And again, this is about letting go of societal politeness, letting go of fitting in. What if your peg doesn't fit the hole? What shape is your peg? What kind of hole do you need to carve out for yourself? And it's okay to want to fit in. This energy won't tolerate it. Now, there's an odd card here which I need a clarifier on. Okay, so the card that's come out is wait, postpone, pause, and say no. And the clarifier is exchanging gifts. And what this is speaking into is how we communicate. Because in this energy, you might reach into defiance. Okay, we cannot change the world by fighting the old. We have to build it. Person by person, soul by soul, we have to build it, build the cathedral here first. And our old paradigm of power, owning our power, is sometimes to reach into defiance, defense, judgment, guardedness, aggression, because that's what we've learned from patriarchal masculine. That's how to exert power. Power is within. Exchanging gifts is about the art of standing in your own power in a really loving way. Sharing love, bringing harmony, rather than that energy, is sharing it in a really loving way. Underlying energy, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Look at all these hands reaching in. Because as we come into our uniqueness, our personal power, it's not going to fit in. And that's going to ask all sorts of questions about what needs to fall to help you find your footing in a new way. Bigger feet and crazier shoes. It's how to establish boundaries when you do get judged for being different. I tell you, starting this channel has set a part of me free. And I have been holding that part of me back. So my inner Zeta Ophiuchi is like the really magical part of me that is fearless and joyful and childlike. And it triggers me, you know. I come away from making these wildly quantum videos and my little mind kicks in. It's like, shouldn't have said that. But I'm practicing that. Pulling the sword from the stone, pulling the light out of the material. Have you answered your deepest calling? Quantum expansion. Have you answered your deepest calling? Your deepest calling is your soul. Oi, are you ready to receive me? Can your heart hold the abundance that I want to bring? The love, the divinity, the sovereignty. These are coming straight off the bottom of the deck. Can you stare into the mirror of your own soul and own it and let it own you? Some triggers this week. We are tearing down the edifice of our own creation that's going to make us feel some kind of way. It's a big, deep 8th house scorpionic. Death, taxes, death, rebirth. Okay, where are we going now, please? I'm going to go to my shaman deck and then I'll think about wrapping it up. I thought it was going to be a really long reading, but clearly all the work's been done for me. I just have to open my mouth and let it come out. And we'll wrap up with those. How are you guys feeling? I'd love to know. How was your weekend? It was a weekend of stark contrast for me. Saturday was a death day, but it was so beautiful. It felt Venusian, and I just took really good care of myself. It was a chicken soup and duvet day. Beautiful, just really beautiful. And then Sunday, I had so much energy. I just rebuilt one of the rooms in my house. And then today, I'm in some heavy, very loving. It feels rich, actually. but it's what's hidden. It feels like it's under the heart or behind the heart. It's in darkness and it's coming forward. Resurrection of all that we have known that we have not known. Wow. Oh, gosh. What I'm seeing is standing on the grass with bare feet. And there's like this two-way communication going on where we're pulling the new, so this is the rainbow body, this is the rewiring, if you like, the recoding of the subtle energy body, pulling that down into earth, and as above so below, so the codes are coming up from the earth. It's like ancient codes coming up from the earth. Wow. Symbiosis. I might do that today, actually. There's a symbiotic relationship. There always has been, but this just feels older and deeper. There's something about telepathy, or the communication routes that go between from tree to tree, and they send warnings out. They can send warnings out to peripheral trees, or the peripheral trees, sorry, send warnings in that disease is on the way, and they work like a village, trees do, when they're left alone. So we've got earth, earth, and now we have water, water. This is washing the land clean, washing the land clean, and washing earth clean. Deep water. There might literally be some tears this week. Let it flow would be my best guidance. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up with a cheeky abundance deck. Would you like to close the read? I want to cry. If we would but allow it. And again, this is allowing the soma to take over and getting the mind out of the way. It's getting out of our own way to be held, healed, loved, wrapped, swaddled. This is talking about being emptied of fear. Imagine that. Imagine that. Emptied of fear and attachments, preparing you to receive. Yourself. true offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love. This is transmutation. Returning to love. Again, loving conversations, watch your words. Guys, that's it. I'm not going to labor this. It's a heavy enough energy, but it does feel beautiful. It feels very loving. And I'm going to have a day of rest and lots of water. It struck me as well as a mundane reminder to those who harness fire to transmute. You might suddenly find yourself getting parched. I sometimes forget to do the basics like ground and drink water, so it's my reminder to you. And that's it. Bring that tower down. It's beautiful energy. Okay, take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Much love. Bye.